So we are at the conference Teaching Languages and Cultures in the Post-Method Era, Insights and Innovations, casually called TLC2023, organized by the English Department of the Faculty of Philosophy and the Center for Professional Development. One of the plenary speakers at the conference is Professor Thor Sawin, from the Middlebury Institute of International Studies in Monterey, USA, whose speech was on the topic bringing generative AI into our language classrooms, new tools for tried and true tasks. Well, first of all, welcome to Serbia, welcome to the Faculty of Philosophy. Thank you for being here at the conference.
It's great to be here. Yeah.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, we have to mention that your visit was supported by the US Embassy in Belgrade. This is a very intriguing topic and very much of great interest at the moment, because it seems that AI takes over our lives in all segments of lives, including education. So is it some boogeyman that we should be aware of, or is it something else?
I think we need to be aware of it in the sense that we need to be aware of it. Whether we like it or not, students are already using it, and the world into which our students will graduate, whether that's this year, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, will be a world where so many of our daily tasks are assisted by generative artificial intelligence. So we maybe wish we could wait to think about it, but we don't have the time to wait. We have to start thinking about it now to prepare our students for their future.
So will artificial intelligence replace teachers? So there is fear in some people regarding that.
There's a few reasons I don't think it will replace teachers. First off, the human species, we're really built to learn language best in interaction. When there's someone that I want to hear from, they have something they want to hear from me, we have mutual attention and a mutual intention. We're trying to do something together. All of the cognitive aspects of language learning, the sociocultural aspects come together naturally in that moment. And I think if we try to learn language just through these kinds of tools, we'll get frustrated. We'll see it's not working. I know so many people who use Duolingo, and they go through all of the things, and then at the end they still say, but I can't use this language, because we weren't designed as humans to learn language that way. But more importantly, I think teaching will be necessary because there's so much more data. There's so much more to be learned about how to use AI well, how to make sense of the things it produces, how they need to be altered. If we just copy and paste, we'll find that the language in the world becomes pretty repetitive, pretty formulaic, and pretty dry. So I think teachers will be needed to inject creativity, this professional awareness of what is important, what isn't working in the text, and what we need to change to make it better.
Unfortunately, teachers start talking about AI only through students cheating in the exam, especially writing. So rather than trying to find the sources and the way how students use AI to do that, what should teachers actually do?
Yeah, I think when we teach as teachers, we're hopefully trying to teach authentic tasks, prepare our students for what they're going to be doing in the real world. And in many of the roles which our students will fill, the writing they do will be assisted by artificial intelligence. Their bosses will say, use it, help it wherever it's helpful, go ahead and try. So in the education system, I think we'll never be able to stay ahead of AI, unfortunately. Our students will always be faster than us as teachers, finding new tools and new tricks if we want to catch them. I think we need to start out, I don't know exactly what this means, and I have my fears about it, but the assumption you're going to use AI. This is what the AI does for this task. Here it is, right at the beginning. Now what can we do with it? What can we add? And so I was just talking with colleagues last night at this conference about all these stories of how students have been cheating, right? And turning things in. And right now it's obvious, but in the future it might not be that obvious. So we need to assume that it's part of the process and change our assignments so that they know that we know about AI, that we're on the same page, we both know what it can do, what it can't do, and that we work together on that rather than me trying to catch them at what they're doing.
And another line of your research and your projects and activities is working in the region. You are pretty much familiar with the situation here. You have worked in Kosovo, Macedonia, right?
Yeah, Bosnia. Yeah.
Bosnia, yeah. And the focus of your work is peace building and conflict resolution. So what kind of approach do you apply in your work here, in your projects here, and how can language and what language teachers can bring into communication and education of future generations? How can that help make this region known for good things like the climate, the warm people, food, delicious food?
Yeah, I think language classes are such a unique place in the curriculum because the whole center is encountering the other, encountering someone and thinking about someone who comes from a different place and taking on their perspective. We're leaving our own brains, our own natural way of thinking, and taking on a different perspective. So the language class is a place of great power for us to learn to tell other people's stories. And my approach to peace building is that humans don't naturally distrust or dislike or even hate each other. We have to get taught and told to distrust another group by learning stories about what happened in the past, and by how those stories get told, we sort of absorb a distrust or a dislike or even a hatred of another group. And my principle is that if we can get languaged into hate or languaged into distrust, we must be able to get languaged out of it. That if we're careful about the ways that we use language, whether that's the ways that languages get named or standardized, the ways that we talk about other people, that we could actually begin to language ourselves, using language, into mutual understanding. And I think the most important thing is to learn to tell someone else's story in words that they recognize as their own. I don't have to agree with their story, but the starting point of peace and understanding is I at least know this is that person's version of what happened. And I can tell it back to them. If I were you, I would probably think this. I would be worried about these things. These things would be important to me. These would be important moments in history. Is that true? And if they can say, yes, you understand, that is true, then we can actually begin to have a discussion. But right now, too many places, we don't even know each other's stories. I don't know how to tell that person's version of the story, or to tell it the way that they understand it. And that's a powerful thing about language, is that we can embody other people's words, like their way of speaking, their dialect, let people speak in their own words, and understand them in their own words as well. It's piece by piece, stitching societies that mistrust each other is hard, but in small areas of cooperation, such as English teaching preparation, but in all of the other ways, protecting watersheds, cooperating on studies of ancient cultures. There's lots of little ways in which societies can come together and create the atmosphere for mutual thriving and understanding.
Thank you very much for this conversation and the whole visit, and we hope that you will enjoy your stay here.
I already have, and I'm looking forward to more time here. Thank you.
Thank you.